What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Want to take a minute to thank all of our wonderful sponsors who support the show. So please take a listen and support the people who support the show. This episode of Like It or Not is sponsored by CH Peptides, a trusted source for high-quality research peptides like tirzepatide, BPC157, and IGF-1LR3. With fast shipping, consistent purity, and top-tier service, CH Peptides keep things simple and reliable. Want to learn more or book an appointment? Just call or text 707-380-6411. Tell them your boys from Like It or Not sent you, and you get 15% off your order. You can also order at chpeptides.com and enter Like It or Not at checkout for 15% off your order. So do not delay. Call today. That's CH Peptides. Products are for research use only, not intended for human or animal use. Complete Health Peptides makes no claims or promises regarding the effects of any product. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by The Thirsty Axe, Ukiah's axe throwing and music venue for all. Every Wednesday night, trivia night. Every Thursday night, karaoke night. And on the weekends, DJs and bands, with a comedy show coming up later this month on November 21st. Guys, you got to go to thirstyaxe.com to check out their schedule of events and get your tickets in advance for all the fun things they got going on there. You can stop by and play pool, get yourself a drink or a grilled cheese sandwich, throw some axes, hang out with friends. It's a great place to be. That's the Thirsty Axe. This episode of the podcast is also sponsored by DC Customs. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a project. I know you do. You have some tires that need to be replaced. You have a roof rack you've been meaning to buy. You want to lift your rig. You want that brand new thing that's going to make you be able to crawl over that huge obstacle in your life. DC Custom has the solution with a well-trained, knowledgeable staff that's there to serve you and make your projects come to life. Follow them on Instagram for a little taste of what they do. That's DC Customs Ukiah on Instagram. Or you can go by their shop located on North State Street right here in Ukiah. That's DC Customs. Want to tell you about our friends over at Thompson Construction. That's ktompsonconstruction.com. Thompson Construction is an excavating and grading general engineering contractor based out of Ukiah, California. At Thompson Construction, they love what they do and they take the utmost pride in their work and customer satisfaction with great attention to detail. No job too big or too small. Do you have a project you've been putting off? Well, give them a call today, 707-391-7679. They are OQ certified for PG&E excavation and backfill, swimming pool excavation, concrete flatwork, subgrade, asphalt, paving, all sorts of things, road construction and maintenance. You know, they do it all, ladies and gentlemen. So give them a call today, 707-391-7679. That's Thompson Construction. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the podcast is sponsored by Pure Blends Barbershop. They're located right downtown in beautiful Ukiah, California, and have been voted best of Lake and Mendocino counties for 3 years in a row, going for the fourth this year. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a call, 707-472-6097 to book your appointment today. Fade it, slap it, mop it, cut it, whatever you need to do. These guys will hook you up. And they got an awesome team in there that knows what they're doing, and they send everybody out in style. So if you want to get styled up, Pure Blends is your place. 472-6097. My name is Carter Lane.
I'm Drew Nickel.
Welcome to the show. Oh my God. I think you have a problem, bro.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my goodness.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, in case we don't see ya.
Yeah.
I'm Carter Lane. This is Drew Nickel, and you're watching Like It or Not. Or listening. You could be listening to Like It or Not as well.
But you can watch it on YouTube if you're interested. So check it out, like and subscribe. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah. And Drew just bought this festive sweater to wear tonight. So put in the comments there what you think about it.
Yeah.
and send us some links to some clothes that you would think that we should wear on the show, because we've been talking and we're ready to.
We blew it not wearing Halloween costumes.
I know.
Next
dude.
year we definitely have to wear Halloween.
Hey,
costumes.
remind us about that, producer.
Yeah, he's all sure. Will do.
Sure will.
Duly noted.
No problem.
In the organizational agreement there.
You should do a Thanksgiving one.
Oh, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we'll have turkey on the table and the mashed potatoes.
We could dress up like pilgrims.
I want to dress up like a turkey.
Perfect.
What do you think about that?
I think that's a good outfit for you. I want to see what your gobbler looks like. The little,
What's that called?
that's called a gobbler.
No, I don't think it's
pretty
called a
sure.
gobbler.
A waddle, maybe.
Yeah.
A beard.
Oh, it's a beard.
Called a beard.
Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome. You needed
Call in the experts here.
you needed a zoologist for that conversation.
You are one, right? You got a degree in that.
I do.
Yeah.
In zoology?
She has a PhD.
Actually, it's
she's big.
zoology. I don't know anything about zoos.
Yeah.
Oh, it's zoology? Have I been pronouncing it wrong for 42 years?
Correct.
Yeah. probably.
Zoology.
So what's zoology? The study of
Zoos.
Yeah. I knew it.
What?
I nailed that one. Chico State, baby. Don't let anyone tell you don't get a good education there.
Animals, the study of animals.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Wow, this is really cool. So with us today, Janet, Pauli, and Sean White. Welcome them to the show. Thank you guys for coming on, making some time out of your day to come be here with us.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah. So I got connected to you two. Well, first I should say that several people over the last few months have been telling me that you guys should come on the show in relation to the whole Potter Valley project and the dams and all of that going on. And we had about a week ago, something come up on the board where Madeline Klein had submitted, I don't know, what do they call it?
A resolution.
A resolution, basically, that would have had Mendocino County take a stance that they wanted to keep the dams in, right? And I had text Mo because
Mulhern,
Mo
our representative.
Mulhern. Did I say that right?
I don't know. We're saying it all over. The Mo you know.
The Mo you know.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey, I really support keeping those dams in. And, that was before it happened. And she had basically said, well, do we need dams or do we need water? And we had a discussion. And then, of course, that vote went down 3-2 to not pass that. And so, that created obviously a lot of buzz around our communities for obvious reasons, because this is becoming a more and more hot button topic and important issue. Water, especially in California, we all know is the new liquid gold here, and our communities are dependent on it to thrive. So that was surprising to me, and so I've been digging into the issue a little bit more. We had Bernie on last week, and I think you guys watched that a little bit. And so
Bernie Norville, who's the 4th
district supervisor. And so now here you are, right? So to have this discussion about what I think part of it is, like any issue, people hear what they want to hear, or there's a fear-based reaction that takes place. And I think that it's a normal thing to happen. It definitely tends to happen, people jumping to the worst-case scenarios in Mendocino County without totally understanding the issues. But the other side of that also is kind of being pretty surprised that certain people, maybe even like you, Jenna, that at one point were supporting keeping the dams in place, have kind of changed their perspective on that. And I don't know if that's a accurate representation of your position, because I've kind of developed that from just, finding what I can online about it. So I'll let you speak to that when we get there. But it's been really interesting. So if you could just take maybe a second, introduce yourself, maybe what boards you're on, or what you do now, why you feel like you have an authority to speak on the situation, or at least what your stake in the game is, kind of introduce yourself to people, and then we'll just jump off from there. Why don't you go first, Sean?
All right. My name is Sean White. I'm the Director of Water Resources for the City of Ukiah. Prior to that, I was the General Manager at Russian River Flood Control, which is the local partner for Lake Mendocino in combination with Sonoma Water. And then before that, I worked at Sonoma Water for about 15 years. Prior to that, when I was young and feisty, I ran for the board of directors for Marin Municipal Water District when I was 25, I think, and won. And that's really how I got, by training, I'm a fisheries biologist, and fisheries was what got me interested in water management in general, because I feel like I was always going to water meetings and being on the wrong side of the microphone. So when I was 25, I said, you know what, I'm just going to jump in, and ended up winning, and then kind of ruined my whole life, honestly. I mean, not really, but like I had very different plans for my life in fisheries, but it's been actually a very fulfilling career. I'm joking.
Yeah, sure. So the Russian River Flood Control District.
Yes.
What exactly does that board do?
You know, that board oversees, so Lake Mendocino, you'll hear a lot of local lore that, Sonoma Water came and stole that project from Mendocino County or not. But actually, Mendocino County had the first right of refusal to participate in Lake Mendocino. But for reasons that are very similar to what you're seeing today, there was a lot of unrest in the community. They couldn't really figure out if it was in their interest or not
It
to
goes
participate.
back that far.
Yeah,
it?
no, it really does.
Dysfunction, huh?
And in the end of the day, Mendocino County passed. So the Army Corps of Engineers was looking for another local partner. Sonoma Water reached out and said, "Man, I'll take that action," and did it.
Wow.
And actually, when I was at Flood Control, this long way to get to your thing, but it's kind of important
great.
context.
Yeah,
I took Flood Control to license, which means sort of got their water rights codified, and I had to do all this research. And there was these ancient letters from that period of time from Sonoma Water to local reps here in Mendocino County at that time. It's like, guys, you're going to hate not participating in this. If you can't do all of it, maybe do some of it. So what was the sort of the conflict back then? There were parts of the northern county and parts of the coastal county that were like, hey, this is never going to benefit us. I'm not paying property tax on this. Not realizing that if we'd all chipped in, we'd have had this thing that would have generated tons of income that would have radiated out through the whole county, but we couldn't see that far down the road. So Flood Control bought a small portion of the interest in Lake Mendocino, which came with basically 8,000 acre feet of water rights, and Flood Control administers those rights by contract in the upper basin.
How many acre feet?
8,000.
Okay. And
Well, it was 8,000. I think it's
So they bought that when the dam was built?
yes, and this is
1959?
yeah. We're going to talk about money today, and this is something.
Yeah.
This is a great entree into money. So this was like the same kind of community chaos. Because it was going to be expensive, and how are we ever going to pay for that, and where, how the hell are we going to do this? How much do you think that interest was back then? How much money do you think Flood Control paid for 8,000 acre feet?
I have no idea, but I'll guess 10 grand.
57.
No, it's more than 625,000, right? So basically,
That was way off.
one.
But still, I mean.
But
come
now,
on.
what's like a pretty okay house in Ukiah,
Right.
But back then, that was like grounds for like a holy war, and all these kind of projects that we're talking about.
Wow.
They have a time frame and scale that really exceeds the moment, and it's worth thinking about the long game with any of these types of things.
Yeah.
Totally. I think the ability to see 10 steps ahead is a really important foundation.
And
of
why
success.
doesn't Ukiah have that ever? Has had that? It doesn't seem like that's ever been the vision of this place.
Yeah, and I mean, Coyote Valley Dam is obviously like a haunting reminder of that here.
Yeah, it is literally just looking at us every day. Going,
I see it from,
Yeah.
I drink coffee and stare at it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so they have 8,000 acre feet out of the dam that they get to control, and
Yep.
that's what the Russian River Flood Control District
Yes,
does.
yes. So they have contractors that buy that water. It's, you know, none of these will be exact numbers, but it's largely 50% ag, 50% municipalities that buy the water.
Okay, and now you work for the city.
Yep.
And what do you do for the city?
The city has 3 water utilities. So they have drinking water, they have wastewater, and they have recycle water. And I oversee those departments.
Oh, that's right. You were big in the purple pipe situation,
Yeah.
right? That
Yep.
was kind of like you left where you were to kind of go and do that.
I left flood control to help the city get their recycle water program going. I had worked on a large recycle water pipeline when I was at Sonoma Water that went all the way across the North Bay, and the city was interested in that experience. I was very anxious to make that happen for our community, so I jumped ship to put that on the ground.
And how's that going now?
That's great timing. So last Friday we filed basically a certificate of completion with the state for our final phase. So construction for all 4 phases was done as of last Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, not we, but our team pushed water up the hill from our water plant over off the freeway up to Giorno for the first time last week, just testing.
So what are you going to do with it? We don't want to get too far off track here, but I mean, you're going to water parks, golf courses. What else?
What we do is very old-fashioned, and in modern recycle water days, we irrigate things with our recycle water, right? So, but we make a meaningful amount of water now. We make 1,500 acre feet a year, which is enough water for 3,000 houses. So that's a lot of homes. And what we do is, instead of farmers taking it out of the river, which is then coming out of the lake, we give it to them directly, and then that leaves money in the bank, so to speak.
Now, the purple pipe isn't potable, is it?
No, that's why it's in a purple pipe.
Yeah.
So when you dig it up, you're like, that did not look right. And
You're not trying to make soup out of it.
no.
Okay.
But the water we produce is safe for body contact, and if you get sprayed by it, you're absolutely fine. It's been,
Yeah.
You just don't want to drink it.
you don't. It's not legal to drink it. Yeah. But in Southern California, with one more step, reverse osmosis, people are drinking it.
Have you just, rolled the dice and drank it before, just to prove a point?
Not here, no. But
I'll show you all.
I've drinking lots of water
Yeah, that's what's in there. Actually.
from Southern
Purple
California.
pipe water.
And a lot of places in Southern California that make, especially in San Diego, make a lot of beer out of it. Ballast Point is a lot of recycled water. Yeah.
All right.
Because
no
once it
wonder
come-
beer tastes like shit. I couldn't resist. Just kidding.
No, it's fine.
All right. So, and then Janet Pauli,
Yes.
introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you. I mean, don't have to make it weird or anything, but
Well, How far back?
not too far.
60s. I want to hear about the 60s.
How'd your parents meet?
Okay. I was raised in ag. Went to college. Got really excited about the ocean in particular. Sort of broke away from that ag base. Did research. Turned into more research, and finally ended up with a doctorate in zoology. And I had plans, something probably like what Sean was thinking
Sure.
about he was going to do with his life. Like
Right.
save the Great Barrier Reef or something. But it didn't work out exactly because I met my husband and went back into agriculture.
Okay.
And so I've been farming here in Potter Valley
In the grape business.
in the grape business and pears.
Okay.
Bartlett and Bosque pears.
You still have pears?
Yeah, we do.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of the last Mohicans.
It was a good year this year actually
Yeah.
for pears.
You still make money selling pears?
This year,
Cool.
we will. Well, I think we will. Pears are funny. You don't know what you're really going to make on the pears until like January after you. It's a long story.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I love pears. Favorite
yeah,
fruit.
Yeah. So I worked on the ranch and managed vineyards. Learned about that and orchards. Had children. We have 5 adult children who are all married, all working in the business with us, and 12 grandchildren now. The children are 6th generation Mendocino County in,
Yeah.
and 5th generation Potter Valley farmers.
Okay.
So a lot of history in Potter Valley, a lot of ties there. It's important to us.
And you farm in Potter Valley.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So I would imagine then the farms that you have get water from the irrigation district.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
So farming one day, one of the directors on the irrigation district board retired, and a group of farmers, it was in between election cycles. One of the farmers, a group of them came to me and asked me if I'd go on the irrigation district board. And I remember saying to Bill, that shouldn't be too hard. It shouldn't take too much time, so I think I could do that. He goes, yeah, that's good. You go ahead and do that. That was 37 years ago. I'm still on the board.
Didn't take too much time.
Yeah.
And then, there were issues with the Potter Valley project that came up. It was relicensed, had a first 50-year license. It ended in 1972. I was not involved with any of that then. But by the time I went on the board, the relicensing process was still underway in 1988. And in fact, it became pretty contentious, very involved with a lot of stakeholders. The Potter Valley project was then owned by PG&E and licensed by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. I'll call it FERC because it's too much to say all the time.
There's so many of these
Acronym.
four-letter
Yeah.
commissions that I was like, it's
Yeah.
impossible. And for the people who are just listening, I don't want to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
the
Go
Potter
ahead.
Valley project is the Cape Horn Dam and the Scotts Dam together, right? And the PG&E water diversion that basically comes from Lake Pillsbury down to Van Arsdale, then through the mountain into the East Fork of the Russian River.
That's right.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, Drew.
Yeah.
It's a very,
Boom.
very good, yeah.
That's why they pay me the big bucks, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I afford these fancy sweaters.
Hey, give this guy a raise, producer.
It didn't start out that way. It just started off as a diversion from the Eel into the Russian to produce power. And that was before Scott Dam existed. So
Wow, okay.
that diversion ran in the wintertime when there was enough water in the Eel to actually divert it. PG&E made power. They did it to produce power. They didn't do it for a water supply.
Sure.
But it didn't take them very long to figure out that in the wintertime, they could make power, but in the summertime, when it didn't rain and the river didn't run, they couldn't make power anymore. So they decided to build a storage structure upriver on the Eel, which is a Scott Dam forming Lake Pillsbury. And the reason they did was they knew they could store winter rainfall in that reservoir in snowmelt, and they'd have it to produce power year round. So that's the
origin of Lake Pillsbury.
And so Potter Valley Irrigation District didn't start. The Scott Dam was built in 1922. By 1924, people in Potter Valley were going, "Oh my goodness, look, there's water here in the summertime. We ought to use that."
And there was 3-4 people in Potter Valley then?
There were a few more than that, but they were basically dry farming. So I mean, the summer irrigation, they could probably get maybe two cuttings of hay. There were a few dairies, but they mainly grew things like corn and melons, not for fruit, but for seeds, for seeds to sell the seeds. So it was dry farming, and when Scott Dam was built, suddenly there was water coming through that project in the summertime. The irrigation district actually formed in 1924.
Okay.
By 1926, we had the whole district up and running. The whole system that exists today was in place, gravity-fed system, between 1922 and 1926.
Okay, so you're
About
on
100 years
remarkable.
ago.
Yep. Yes. So since then, the district has been delivering water to customers in the summertime. And it is, next year it'll be 100 years.
Pretty cool. All right, so that's your background there. You're on the board, and you've had not only farms but on the board, and you have a horse in the race, so to speak, from that perspective.
I do, but on top of that, in the mid-'90s, when the license surrendering process was getting very contentious because there was, under the ESA, a Section 7 consultation that started. And it looked as if the diversion itself was really threatened. And a local group here of entities that are dependent on that water supply, including Potter Valley Irrigation District, Redwood Valley County Water District, the Mendocino County Water Agency, City of Ukiah, and the Russian River Flood Control District, formed a joint powers authority. Their main reason for that was to pool effort and funding to help protect that diversion. And that's why we formed. So IWPC was formed. I was appointed by the Irrigation District Board to represent them on the new JPA, IWPC. And then I was elected by that board to chair it.
And that also took none of her time.
No.
Do they pay you for this? You get some at least a little bread no?
No.
Dang.
This is all out of the kindness of your heart and giving back to your community, huh?
Well, yeah.
Well, giving back to my community and protecting my family, I'm not going to
100%.
pretend
Yeah,
that that wasn't part of the issue. But
Right.
obviously, when I went on the IWPC board, I was starting to represent other entities besides Potter Valley in that effort, because this whole region is dependent on the project. And that was then, and this is now, and things change with time.
Yep, they do. So here we are now, and it looks like this diversion is, at risk of going away. It's a kind of a complicated situation. I've been studying it over the last, I don't mean to sound smarter than I am, but just doing my best to read about it. And it's a little confusing in all the different moving parts. And one of the things that I had read about you that I thought was interesting, it was from like 2019, where it was saying basically that PG&E was like, okay, we're not making money on this. One thing I was confused about, now, did PG&E decide to limit the flow through their dam like by 80%, or were they required to do so because of Endangered Species Act? That wasn't clear to me why the water stopped coming through, whether PG&E was forced to stop letting the water through, or they just decided they weren't going to do it anymore.
It wasn't a decision that they chose to make then, because obviously they're making power. So the less water that comes through the project, the less power they were making. And that's the business that they were in.
Sure.
I like to think of this as kind of like doors opening and closing. In 2017, the license expired in 2022. In 2017, PG&E began the process to relicense the project. It would have been for another 50 years. They got to sometime in 2018 and made the decision that they were going to auction the project. In other words, the license would stay, but maybe somebody else would like to have it.
Okay, so is this another one of those opportunities where like we could have owned the dam but didn't because we didn't want to pay for it?
Well, IWPC stepped up and told PG&E we're interested in it. We were the only ones that did.
Who's IWPC again?
The Inland Water and Power Commission.
Got it.
So it's the JPA that's all these local agencies, yeah.
Yes, the one formed. Understood.
So we went to PG&E, said, we'll do it. And we started preparing what's called an indicative proposal. But by the end, when that was due to be filed with PG&E, it was the beginning of 2019, it was January, when they made the decision to withdraw their notice of intent to relicense the project. Changed the whole thing, because then what happened was FERC basically asked, is there anybody else out there that would like to take over this project? And IWPC said, sure, we'd like to take over that project. It wasn't a minor decision. It was a difficult decision because we didn't completely understand what the liability and risk would be of doing that. But Sonoma Water joined us, and Humboldt County joined us, and the Round Valley Tribes joined us, and Cal Trout joined us, and so we started an effort to license the project on our own.
So to keep the diversion of the water, and would that mean then you're taking over the Scotts Dam as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was an effort to license the project.
Yeah.
And for people listening, Scotts Dam is the one at Lake Pillsbury.
Correct.
Yeah, and this is where it gets complicated, and I think these are some of the distinctions that get smashed up, and people kind of can't follow this soap opera, right? So, at first they were going to buy it, and it was going to come with a license, and then it was like, no, we're not going to relicense it, but if you want it, you can have it. And getting the thing without the license is a very different thing. It's sort of like buying a bar, and buying a bar with a liquor license is an entirely different business
So
venture.
then your responsibility became not only getting the dam, but also getting the water license.
Correct.
The hydroelectric, it's a license for making electricity.
Right.
The water is just a byproduct, but it's a valuable commodity.
At that point, we weren't negotiating with PG&E. We were dealing with FERC, the entity that licensed that project. And so as time went on between 2019 and 2022, when the second license expired in April, FERC required us to do a series of studies because FERC wanted to know what was going to change, how it would change over time, and the amount of studies that they wanted to do were millions of dollars worth of studies. And the group that was working together, we could not come to a place where we could find funding to do the physical studies. And finally, the final day of the license expiration arrived. It was April 14th, 2022. And we couldn't succeed in that effort to license the project. And the choice then was PG&E, since no one else was going to step up. PG&E's moved into the decommissioning phase of this process with FERC.
Okay, so why wouldn't Sonoma County or Mendocino County help you come up with that money?
That's a good question. We're talking about a lot of money. We're talking
How much?
millions of dollars
Yeah,
for studies.
just for studies. And then from there, is there a guarantee if you spend that money on the studies that you're going to get the license?
No.
No.
Okay. So did you go to those types of agencies to ask them for money, or agencies, those government entities, and they said no?
Those entities were part of our group that was working together the entire time.
And they still couldn't come up with the
Couldn't
money?
come up with the money.
Okay. So then PG&E started the decommissioning process.
That's correct.
Okay. And now that's kind of coming to a head.
Well, we're a long ways from finally decommissioning the project.
When is that-
But the whole purpose of PG&E's efforts up to that point had been basically relicensing. And when that fell away, the decommissioning process, I've always talked about it like it's sort of a black box. You don't really know how it's going to work, how it will function. It's not something that happens all the time. And the place we are right now is PG&E had to prepare their final license surrender plan, which they filed with FERC in July. And I should back up just a little bit.
Sure.
When PG&E decided that their path needed to be decommissioning, they made it really clear what that meant. In their mind, this project was losing money. It was a business that was failing and had been for quite some time, to the tune of several millions of dollars a year.
Because they couldn't run enough water through the dam?
Part of it was because they lost the amount of water that they were allowed to divert from the eel into the Russian to begin with, back because of the ESA Section 7 consultation. They were reduced from about 160,000 acre feet per annum to around 60,000 acre feet.
Yeah.
So that was money to them. I mean,
Yeah.
they weren't making the power.
Water is what drives the turbines that make the electricity.
And who made that decision to only let them have that?
That was a decision that was made by under a Section 7 consultation. You consult with federal agencies, in this case, National Marine Fisheries Service.
So that was saying it's bad for the fish for you guys to hold that much water or run that much water? I'm a little confused.
Take that much water from the Eel River.
Got it. And divert it into the Russian. Because
Correct.
that's where they got the power, is from that
That's-
diversion.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. All right. All right, so then they were running at half capacity, so they were losing money.
And I think they were losing money before that, probably as well, but definitely by that point in time, they were losing money. And hard to justify for a company to continue losing money year after year. And the decision was finally made to leave it. And then finally, when no one else would take it, the choice was decommission it. And because when they finally made that decision, when they said to the public, decommissioning to us means we will remove all of the infrastructure of this project. We will remove Scott Dam, Lake Pillsbury, Cape Horn Dam, Van Arsdale, all of the diversion facilities, the tunnel, the powerhouse,
All of it.
everything will be gone. And when that became clear, those of us who had been trying to license it, own it, license it, move forward with the project in place, we began to realize how serious this was, because what we would really lose, which was the most important part of that project, was the diversion itself. Now, is it perfect? No, because Scott Dam is gone. There is no summer storage. The diversion will work in the wintertime when the flows are high enough to allow diversion to occur.
And
You have something you
Janet,
wanna add, Sean? Go
I
ahead.
do. You know, part of PG&E's business decision wasn't just on the annual loss, which was between 7 and 8 million a year. It was also the cost that they were going to look at to get it through relicensing, which was the same multi-million-dollar studies that our group was looking at. It was seismic improvements to the dam, the actual power station, what's the right word? The turbines in Potter Valley.
Powerhouse.
The powerhouse needed a major retrofit. So they basically had relicensing costs. They had a lot of infrastructure updates. All of it together, I believe they forecast that they were going to go in the hole about $400 million over the term of the next license. And they just went like, yeah, no. So that's
They could afford it.
yeah. So, and you know, that's the one of the things that folks don't realize. Like, if we were able to save Lake Pillsbury, that's the same bill we'll be looking at to continue to do things as well.
So here's my question.
That's
That all has to be done if you want to get power out of it. And I understand that the whole point of this was power and water is the byproduct, but that isn't the case anymore, right? You can make power by putting a panel on your freaking roof now, which I'm sure that's what PG&E probably wants to do rather than all of this business. But why can't we just have these dams have water flow? I mean, there's got to be plenty of dams that just serve that purpose.
There's important reasons for that, right? And this dam isn't one of those. So all of the water rights all the water that comes through there, all water rights have what's called a beneficial use. So when you get a water right, it's not just going to be like, hey, whatever I want, I just need this amount. So there's beneficial uses called municipal, there's irrigation, there's flood control, there's other things. And one of them is hydro. So the water and the ownership of the water that came through the tunnel was 100% predicated on hydro. You couldn't just divert water for the sake of diverting water. So that's why the group was initially interested in trying to relicense it, because it's really making electricity is the foundation of the legal premise for having access to the water in the first place. So getting a license was, again, it's like, you know, that bar liquor license thing. You have to have both. You have to have the thing and you have to have the license to operate it the way it had been operated previously. Also,
And so there's no way to change the fact that the whole license for the water is for electricity. And if you're not using it for that purpose, then it's going to revert back to, you know, whoever had seniority water rights to the water prior to the dam.
Let me just make one
please.
point, and that is that the original license before Scott Dam was built or any of that, the original license for the diversion, it also included a statement that one of the beneficial uses was irrigation.
yeah.
So it was hydropower and irrigation. So it's there in that original license. And then when Scott Dam was built, Lake Pillsbury had 3 licenses that were attached to it that were more detailed. You know, Potter Valley Irrigation District has X number of acre feet of water that they're allowed to have, et cetera. So, but the original license did include irrigation, so it wasn't 100% hydro, but the only interest that PG&E had in it was the hydro.
And when you get back to running the facility itself, most of the capital costs there, all the studies you'd still have to do about in-stream flows and everything, those would remain. All the expensive retrofits to the dam would remain. The only capital costs you'd be dodging are repairs at the powerhouse, and that's it.
I'm just confused why you have to restudy something that's been there for 100 years. That is confusing to me.
Yeah, it's...
Restudy in-stream flows. I mean, we know how it's working. Look at the picture.
Yeah. So
You know,
whenever you get
it stays there and it goes through there and flows there.
Right. So these aren't things that people
laugh.
like Janet and I.
Only were that simple. Huh? She's like, why am I here, dude? I could be at home eating spaghetti.
Yeah. I wish life was that practical, right?
But the answer is there's government agencies forcing.
When you go through any sort of large permitting process, right, you have to demonstrate all of the things. And when you have a river that has endangered fish in it, one of the things you have to do is look at, okay, this is what we've been doing the last 20 years. How did that work? How's the fish population doing? All of those sorts of things. Then you have a great agency called DSOD, Department of Safety of Dams, and they want to make sure that the dam that you've got that's impounding this potential flood isn't going to fall over and wipe things out, and it just goes on and on and on. And you're not getting your license without completing those steps.
Okay. That makes sense. I just, you don't want to take it step by step because I think for a lot of people,
these are
it's hard
like
to digest.
If you don't ruin your life learning about this like we do, you would not know these things.
Yeah.
So you studied fish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of your education. And
I went to Humboldt State and have a degree in fisheries biology. Yeah.
So what's your perspective on this dam and its
impact on fish?
Yeah. I mean, is it bad? Would it be? It seems to me, and you hear like from general people, like if you took this dam out and there's no water in the summer, it's really going to hurt the fish.
Well, for me, if I put my fish guy hat on, I have a mixed perspective, right? You have to remember that that's how the eel always was. And before it was dammed, it was a largely high winter flow, snowmelt spring. But that's the beauty of anadromy. Those fish come from the ocean, they spawn, their young lives there, and as things start to dry up, they do two things. They either move up into the headwater streams, like on the west side of Ukiah, for example, right? And if you look at like Orris Creek or Gibson Creek, like downtown, it's dry as a bone. But if you hike up into the western hills, there's a ton of water, and that's what would happen. So like even if you go on the eel side up into Trout Creek or any of those things, there's water in there all summer long. So what happens, the fish spawn, the young hatch, and they either move towards the ocean, which like Chinook do immediately. They don't hang out, so they wouldn't be here in the summer at all. They boogie right away. So they don't need summer water because they're already in the estuary on their way to the ocean. Steelhead either do that or they move up into the headwater streams and hang out where it's cold and melted snow all summer. And then when it starts raining again, back in the river and out they go. So they did just fine without dams.
Yeah, and how are they doing with the dam? I mean, I would imagine they're chilling in this river right now, swimming around, having a good time.
They're doing all right. One of the things you'll hear a lot of people talk about on the eel are things like pike minnow, right, which are non-native to the eel. They are native to the Russian and the Sacramento system, largely because they used to be interconnected.
These are those little wormy things in the sand, eels?
No, those are ammocetes. Those are juvenile lampreys. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Get your fist right, dude.
Yeah.
I dug them up in the Russian before. So.
Oh, yeah. They make great bait. They're remarkably durable bait. Yeah.
Yeah. Face only a mother could love.
Yeah. Well, they don't even have a face when they're ammocetes.
That was my point.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't even have eyes at that point in their life. But anyways, fish have survived in the upper Eel pre-dam and prospered. We know that, right? And one of the tributaries to Pillsbury is Salmon Creek, I believe, and I'm guessing settlers named it that probably because it had salmon in it. That'd be my guess. So, really, what you're losing now is access to spawning habitat in the upper basin, and that's probably the big thing. And that was one of the other costs to taking this project over, is if you were going to keep these dams, you were going to need to provide fish passage around them. So they didn't have fish ladders, either of these. Well, Van Arsdale did, but it didn't work very well, and Scott didn't. So there were years and years of engineering feasibility studies. Again, ruined my life being on some of those committees and reading thousands of pages of engineering, but largely infeasible to get fish over Scott in particular.
What about the
is
fish?
Is it your belief that if these come out, that things will return to how they were before they went in?
No, because when they went in was 1904, and a lot of other things have changed, right? But do I think fish will go up there? Yes, the first year. I've done one dam removal in my career here in the Russian on Crocker Creek down by Cloverdale. That was built in 1904, and the year after we smashed it. It had been blocked for 100 years at that point. There were steelhead in there reproducing the very first year. It was pretty cool.
What about the fish in Lake Pillsbury? We don't care about those fish?
I didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be done for.
Yeah, but the lake in Pillsbury are bass and pike minnow, which really shouldn't be there in the first place, right? So,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's going to have to be a lot of work with regards to, for example, when Scott Dam is removed, the sediment that's behind it.
That's a when, not an if.
Well, yes, at this point in time. And if it's not right now, in 50 years from now or whenever, ultimately, the impact of removal of Scott Dam is going to have some impact on the Eel River for some period of time that we don't completely understand yet either. And that's part of the studies that still need to be done.
Yep.
So, but yeah, will it return to what it used to be? As Sean says, not exactly like it used to be, but nothing is like it used to be. The fishery itself is not like it used to be.
Right.
And so it's kind of a specious question.
yeah.
To see if it's really going to, and we don't really completely understand oceanic conditions either.
Yeah, but
So
in the end of the
it's-
day, fish are going to drive like this secondary benefit from decommissioning, but the real driver here is economics. It was a money pit, and that's why PG&E bailed. I frequently hear this, as like a, man versus fish controversy or whatever,
Right.
but it's not.
Okay.
That's not what pushed decommissioning at all. Fish passage was going to be one of the costs that PG&E was going to have to deal with, but that's not what really drove the bus here. It was that it was losing money.
All right. So I think we understand that part. I think maybe we could shift gears now
Sure.
to the alternative solution.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
The NERF.
the NERF.
More
right?
acronyms.
Yeah.
Yes.
More.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, the new Eel Russian facility, the NERF.
Yeah, because for one, we've had people on.
Just real quick, I need to give a shout out to one of our good friends who's been through this battle with us. Really, really wanted it to be called the new Eel Russian diversion, so it would be the NERD.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
he wanted that badly.
Nerf
He didn't.
was bad enough.
He didn't win. He didn't win.
But Nerf, yes.
Nerf,
we
yes.
need to discuss that.
So let's discuss it. I think this is an interesting topic. So I'll say one thing. I don't know that the community even really knows what NERF is.
Sure.
I think part of the people are like, keep the dam is the thought is it's one or the other.
Yeah. Yep.
That's right.
And even we had a woman on who's an activist in
Keeley.
Keeley, right?
Yeah, I watched her interview.
And it's a good interview, and I think she has a lot of points and had a lot of criticism. One thing from there was alarming was the fact that if Pillsbury comes out, she's claiming that that whole herd of elk will be culled because there's not enough resources, which is crazy. But I don't know if that's true, but that's intense. But the other side of it was like, okay, there was a discussion of keep the dams or pull the dams out. But or the Nerf, right? So we talked about it a little bit with Bernie, and to me, there seems to be a couple major issues with it, right? Which would be the main one. You want to explain a little bit about what it is, I guess, first before we start talking about what it does and doesn't do.
And Janet, jump in and interrupt at any time. But basically, the current proposal, the NERF, is...
What does it stand for?
It stands for the New Eel Russian Facility. So it uses the existing tunnel, but it uses essentially none of the rest of the existing infrastructure. So you have...
Is this existing tunnel part of PG&E's plan to decommission and pull out of it?
Originally,
It originally was,
take
but
it all out. Yes.
part of one of the victories, really, I think, of IWPC and our partners to the south was keeping that...
JJ, all of this is in the notes, too, from the last one, too.
Keeping that infrastructure in place as part of their decommissioning was critical.
So you got them to agree to
We basically
not decommission that part.
we got them to agree to allow us, as part of their decommissioning plan, to have a new thing that basically builds off what they're going to leave in place so we can continue to have water. And getting that just included in their decommissioning plan, and I have Janet and her, I was not a big part. They worked tirelessly just to get that inserted so we'd at least have something to work with.
And what it does right now is it's an agreement that as PG&E removes Cape Horn Dam, we will hopefully at the same time be building this new diversion so that the river only has to be dewatered for a very short period of time.
Can we go back just one step? Because I want to give you an opportunity. I was reading some Substacks, and which are, kind of citizen journalist stuff, after what happened with the Board of Supervisors. And one of the articles I read by Adina Flores, who's been on this show, did you read her Substack?
Some of it, yes.
It basically said that, in so less language, that you kind of, were at one point wanted to save the dams, and now you've kind of like turned your back on Mendocino County and the water, and now you're pushing this whole thing. And at one point you were for the dams, and now you're not, and you should do the right thing and support keeping the dams in. I don't know that that's fair. Speaking with it, I didn't realize how much effort, energy you played in trying to keep the dams to begin with, right? But at what point did you make the decision to decide, you know what, there's nothing we can do. These dams are coming out, so now we need to, come up with a secondary solution?
It was when PG&E's decision had to be that they were going to decommission the project, and their clear description of what that meant. And suddenly, it was not a matter of whether or not we wanted to keep the dams. It was a matter of trying to figure out how to survive if the dams were not there.
So it sounds like, and it sounds like to me like the general population and us are like just finding out about this, and it's been a very long time that you guys have been working on this, right? Yeah. So like when we initially heard about it, we're like, why doesn't somebody just buy them? You know what I mean? Like, so it's really interesting to know that like the backstory behind it, because now we can think logically about what the next steps are going to be, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So the NERF, because there were, again, a lot of engineering studies about trying to pass the dams for fish, it became apparent that even Van Arsdale, even though it's low, its design was very hard to get fish around reliably. Everything will come out. Even the old fish screen, which is a very complicated thing, that's another part. That's another massive cost of running the dams that we have now. If you haven't never seen the fish screen there, it's amazing. Bit of engineering.
It's a cool facility.
Yeah, it's a cool facility.
It's pretty awe-inspiring.
It is. So
this is at Pillsbury?
No, this is in Van Arsdale.
At Van Arsdale. So all those will come out, and basically what will happen is parallel to the river, there will be a long fish screen there, a series of submersible pumps. Those pumps will withdraw water from this thing that's sort of offset to the side of the bank, and the river will be uninterrupted. Water will get diverted through those screens, pumped into the old tunnel, and come out in Potter Valley. And there, it's a winter run diversion for the most part. So during high flows, but there are also opportunities here. The same documents that limited PG&E's ability to divert water through the tunnel are predicated on storage levels in Lake Pillsbury and other things, and those all go away when the dam comes out. And I'd say the water sharing agreement is very fair in when and how water can be diverted. And the amount of water that could come through the tunnel with the NERF is actually significantly larger than we're seeing now. So I think I watched a presentation by Dawn Seymour, and I think the maximum that can come through with the NERF, just from a straight diversion standpoint in a normal year, is around 84,000 acre feet. We're doing 30-ish now. The problem is we don't have any place to put it, and that's
Right,
the
it's
next.
going to be coming through in the winter.
That's the next chapter
where everything's rushing out to the ocean.
Yes. So a big part of, and Janet and I have been saying this for like forever, the two-basin solution isn't a two-basin solution unless there's new storage built on the Mendocino side of things. And the IWPC has also been working for many years to complete a feasibility study with the Army Corps of Engineers to authorize raising Coyote Dam. That's another thing that this community, I think, just because it's not their job, they don't really know about it. But when I talk about this, over beer with my friends, they're like, that'd be so hard, and, so many things to think about. But what most people don't know is Lake Mendocino was intentionally designed to be built in two phases, like from the beginning. And the raise we're trying to do now was actually scheduled to occur around 1969. But at that time, we were still getting so much water through the tunnel. People were like, I think we're good. And they didn't do it. So yet another damn it. Damn it.
Well,
I see what you did there.
It was authorized by Congress to be raised as part of this regional flood control process. Coyote Valley Dam.
Yeah.
Build Warm Springs Dam. Come back and raise Coyote Valley Dam 36 vertical feet, which would have doubled its gross capacity.
It does. So Lake Mendocino holds 122,500 acre feet of water now at full, and it would basically go to 250 with a 36-foot raise. So we were trying to get authorization to do what it was designed to do. And if that happens,
who would authorize that?
The Army Corps of Engineers.
Now, do you have to do all these fish studies and the same bullshit that you had to do to try to save the last dam?
All of that plus more bullshit. Yeah, the Army Corps of Engineers is very particular about their facilities, and getting them to agree to do the obvious is difficult. But
so why be willing to pay for that bullshit but not the other bullshit?
I think because they know that solution won't bring with it a bunch of liabilities that come with the other situation, right? So if it's kind of like having an old car versus a new car, right? You had that old car where you're like, okay, I'm just going to do this alternator, and then she should be good. Then you do the alternator, and like, okay, now it needs tires. Those old facilities on Pillsbury side are kind of like that old car. Even if we save it, it's got a ton of work that needs to happen because it's going to have fish passage problems that will get sued by environmental groups. So you're going to either have to fight those lawsuits or build passage. We already know that's difficult. With the NERF, we have a new facility that doesn't have any of those liabilities. And when we get Lake Mendocino raised, that's basically an entire rebuild of the dam. So we'll have a new dam with twice as much storage as we have now, and it's all controlled by us on this side of the hill. It's kind of a better mousetrap. It's all speculative, but it's, in my judgment, it's a better bet.
It's not the only thing that has to occur, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is
was gonna be
obvious
my
to
next-
Yeah.
anybody who lives in Potter
Yeah.
Valley like I do.
Yes.
We're above.
We're getting there.
We're above Lake Mendocino,
So-
and so we're also working on projects to allow us to
Yes.
store more water in Potter Valley for use in Potter Valley.
So
Exactly.
that's what I want to hear. Like, what?
Yeah.
Can you give me specifics on that?
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
What kind of projects?
Well, we had help from Sonoma Water to acquire a DWR grant a couple of years ago. We hired a company called Jacobs, who has been looking at potential groundwater storage in Potter Valley. If you think about it, since 1922, no one's really been too worried about drilling wells in Potter Valley
Right.
because there's almost unlimited surface water available. So
And will that remain the same if the dams come out? Will the water table stay in the same place in Potter Valley?
no, we don't know.
Right,
That's the point. We don't know, and so part of Jacob's work has been looking at potential groundwater storage, and we've also been looking at tributaries in the valley, small tributaries like Bush Creek and Hahn Creek, Boys Creek, Mewiney, for more dispersed surface water storage in Potter Valley.
So small dams in
Just
Potter.
small dams in Potter Valley to provide water that we can store from winter.
Along the river?
No, in the little tributaries to the East Branch. So
In the hills.
yeah, up in the hills around Potter Valley. Potter Valley is about 7 miles long and 2 miles wide.
I hear more studies.
Well, it
Sounds like more
absolutely
studies, right?
have to, because how else are we going to know what it would cost and what kind of storage we actually could have available?
And what effect it would have on the fish?
Well,
Well,
no
here you
fish
won't. It's-
above where
Yeah.
it's called above the point of anadromy.
Lake Mendocino is the end of
blocks-
anadromy, so there are no
blocks
fish migrating into
migration.
Potter.
No fish have migrated upstream of,
Mm-hmm.
Coyote Valley Dam since 1959.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're not considered to be concerned about the impact of dam building for that purpose to protect anadromous fish. They're not there.
It's an easier place to build a dam.
It's a logical place to build a dam,
Mm-hmm.
and it's necessary, or else the community of Potter Valley has no water.
Yeah.
So I didn't get there, but yeah, storage is like the big bucket is Lake Mendocino,
Mm-hmm.
but we also are looking at various alternatives for keeping Potter alive as well.
So what about the argument of the need to have Pillsbury to mitigate fire risk, right? Are they going to be able to dip planes and buckets into these new places in Potter Valley? I mean,
Sure.
you know, 'cause-
They already use our small ponds
Yeah.
all the time.
do they?
Yes.
They use small ponds all over. They use my wastewater pond, so you've probably had recycled water as well. But
All
yeah,
right. Raining down upon me, huh?
It won't be like Pillsbury. Obviously, you're not going to get
Yeah.
one of those giant planes that's going to scoop water out of a big reservoir. I mean,
Yeah.
they can do that in Lake Mendocino. They can do that over at Clear Lake. They've done it over in
Yeah.
Pillsbury for years.
Oh shit, you guys!
I've
All
seen them
right.
on Lake Mendocino as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's the plan. Divert water in the winter. You're gonna have to pump it, so that's gonna be
money.
money.
Yeah,
Which means it's gonna cost money for the people using the water, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
yep.
And I've seen the word a few times that Potter Valley has enjoyed free water.
No,
Yeah.
Potter Valley hasn't enjoyed free water. We've paid for every drop of water we get.
Oh, I
From
th-
PG&E.
But
We're the
remark-
I
only
think I read
ones-
your letter that said free water.
Remarkably inexpensive water. It
We
has
have
had that.
inexpensive, but we have paid for it. It's the people downstream of Potter Valley who haven't paid for this water.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to have to pay for all this? I mean, where's all this money to build all of this going to come from? Can
Well,
we get PG&E to pay for it?
I think it's going to be a combination of things. PG&E is going to pay for cleaning up their part of the mess.
Okay.
That you know where they get their money. You pay your bill. So that's where that money
Yeah, I
will
paid
come
for
from.
that dam.
Yep. And then for the design of NERF, I think that's largely going to be grant funded. Sonoma Water has, I think, a $2 million grant with the Bureau of Reclamation. That will get it to what's called 60% design. So there's largely buildable set of designs, but before things go out to bid, it has to go to 90%. This is a sad part of my world as well. And I believe Department of Fish and Wildlife has already agreed to fund that aspect of things, as well as all the environmental documents that have to go with it. So at that point, you're just looking at construction which I think for the NERF is somewhere between 25 and 50 million,
50 million.
which sounds insane, but I just spent 53 million on recycled water here in the city, and LA paid for all of it. So there are opportunities for grant funding for things of that scale in our area.
Why did LA pay for it?
I always joke, people, I'll say like, it was free, it's grant money. People are like, well, that's still taxpayer money, right? But if you look at where most of the money in the state budget comes from, it's not Ukiah and largely it's largely Los Angeles. So, if Los Angeles wants to buy me a pipeline, I'm here for it all day long.
Yeah, thanks. Well, at least they can do, to be honest. They're drinking everyone's milkshake down there anyway, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks.
So I have so many marbles rolling around in my brain here. It just seems like the one thing that is just not being considered here is the effect that all of these farmers, people in Potter Valley, have built a whole 100-year existence on this. And now PG&E just says, good job, but it was no guarantee it was going to be there forever, and now we're out.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing with LA. What if somebody just decided they wanted to stop sending water to LA?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's public infrastructure, right? So,
so that's the difference.
It's the difference. Yeah. It's a private company that can kind of do, it's not just a private company, it's an incredibly wealthy, powerful private company. So they can just kind of do what they want because it's all private.
We're all aware of that.
And we're all just basically in the reacting to what they're doing mode. We're not driving this bus, but we're trying to.
It wasn't our choice.
Yeah, it's not our choice.
There were a lot of doors that closed in this process. The door was closed on auctioning. The door was closed to us on relicensing or licensing the project. The door that opened was not the door we chose. The door that opened was decommission. And now we're having to respond and react to that reality. And it's not simple. It's been difficult. It'll continue to be a challenge. But, it's, for example, when the Potter Valley Irrigation District formed back in 1924, they went into a bonded indebtedness of $1 million. For the little community of Potter Valley, they took on paying back $1 million bond. In those days, that was a lot of money. A lot of people were unhappy. Some people's property in Potter Valley to this day is not in the irrigation district because they chose not to participate. But they paid it off. I think it was sometime in the early 1980s. PVID paid it off. When Coyote Valley Dam was built, Sonoma took the brunt of the bonded indebtedness required to build that.
Flood control did the rest.
And flood control did the rest. And at the time, it was like, oh my gosh.
625,000.
What are we going to do?
Where will we ever get that kind of money?
And they did.
And they
did. If the decision had been different, like we were talking about earlier, we wouldn't have 8,000 acre feet of water in Lake Mendocino. We'd have more of it probably. So, it's short-sighted. I understand it completely because I've gone through every single step of this, the denial, the what are we going to do? And now we're to a place where the decision is in our hands to decide what to do and protect our water supply to improve our resilience. Whether or not the Potter Valley Project was there or not, in 2005, IWPC worked with the Army Corps of Engineers to start the first feasibility study to raise Coyote Valley Dam. Why? It wasn't because we thought PG&E was not going to be there. It's because we knew that 2 years of back-to-back drought, Lake Mendocino would be dry, with or without the Potter Valley Project. So what did we think we needed to do to fix it?
More storage.
Get more storage.
Yeah, it's always been a good idea.
Yeah, it has. And I've been hearing about people exploring that for a long time. One was dig it out, but the soil's contaminated, and what do you do with it? I'm like, put it up around the top. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense? It's already
no, it doesn't actually. So digging, well, if Ukiah is listening, let me tell you
we
this.
got the experts.
No, an emphatic no. So the amount of dirt you can dig out as far as water is concerned is literally de minimis. All right. So if you dug out 500,000 cubic yards, That is a small lake. And that's why we don't dig holes. That's why we build dams, right? So it's way more efficient to make the dam higher, because if you dig all of that dirt out, you have to put it somewhere. And it would be way cheaper to build a dam in that hole where you move the dirt than to truck all the dirt over there. It's just an insanely inefficient way to create storage. Also, you got to look at a lake as like an inverted triangle, right? So it's skinny at the bottom, wide at the top. Like 20 feet of storage at the bottom is probably equivalent to 1 storage foot at the top of the reservoir. So you can get way more. That's why just raising Lake Mendocino 36 feet doubles its capacity, because you have all the stuff at the widest part of the cross section. So way more effective to raise the dam than make a mess in the bottom.
Okay, so you were saying 25 to 50 million to fund the NERF facility.
Yep.
That's just to build a facility at
Yep.
Van Arsdale.
Yes.
How are we going to pay to raise the dam?
We're working with the feds on that. Yeah.
And is there a way to have Mendocino County pay for it and own the water and like do it right this time?
IWPC is the local partner for that project, and when you are the local partner of a project, any benefit that comes out of it is you are the person that's entitled to that. So that's why Sonoma owns the water in there now and a little bit of flood control. They were the local sponsor for construction of Coyote. IWPC is a local sponsor for raising it. So IWPC would have sort of first right of refusal for improved
I'll
water.
mention one thing that's really, really an incredibly wonderful turn of events. The Lytton Rancheria has joined us as a non-federal sponsor with the Army Corps of Engineers as well. So we have 2 non-federal sponsors right now with the Army Corps.
Where's the Lytton Rancheria?
Dry
Creek.
Okay.
It's
Hillsburg
yeah.
area. Got it. What about paying for all the storage in Potter Valley?
Same kind of thing.
You gotta figure it all out.
We
Gonna figure it all
We
out.
still have to figure it all out. We still need grant funding to help us with the studies, which is always a problem. You know, getting money for studies is difficult, but it's a catch-22, right? You have to do the studies before you can realize a project. People are much more willing to give you funding if you have what's called a shovel-ready project.
Yes, sure.
And it's difficult. We can't have a shovel-ready project until
You've done your engineering.
we have to do the engineering. We have to do the groundwork. And that's why it's so important to have the community on board with helping us get there and understanding that if this is our choice, we can't wait. We can't just sit around and wait until Scott Dam one day is gone for whatever reason. We have to work now to make sure we have storage before that condition happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, there's no use in fighting. The fight is over to keep the dams.
Yeah, in my opinion, I do. I think that ship has sailed, and that's why we've put all our eggs in the basket of basically crafting a solution that deals with, what we're left with.
It's just such a hard pill to swallow. That something that's already existing and working fine.
But it's not. That's the false part of your argument. There's a thing there, and it's old, and it has a lot of liabilities, and that's why they left, right? So it exists, and back when we had someone that was willing to run it at a giant loss every year till they figured out what they were going to do with it, that was a great run. But that's over, right? So now if it becomes ours, it's not just this great thing that's
but you're
sitting
either spending
there.
hundreds of millions here or hundreds of millions there.
Yes.
And the question is like, it's a big risk, right? I mean, I have people send me questions and they're like,
100%.
well, what if y'all don't pull this off? What if you can't get the dam raised and we don't have storage and we didn't oppose the dam coming out and now we're really up a creek?
So what do you do? You decide not to do anything?
Well, I
mean,
think
that's
the argument
the
is you
problem.
fight to keep the dam in. Like maybe it's a mistake to say we as Mendocino County don't oppose the dam coming out. And I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right?
Yeah.
Because this is what people would say to you or are saying about you when you're not here, right? So this is their questions.
And there's a real answer to that, right? So it is. It's a big fat fork in the road, right? You want to put your eggs in, what we know and what is comfortable, even though it's old and comes with a host of liabilities? Or do you want to go like, hey, this thing, modern, we own it, we manage it, puts water on our side of the hill in a bigger bucket that we can manage? Both of those choices are speculative, right? But you have to just trust that not just me and Janet, but literally a team of dozens of very smart water professionals and biologists and engineers have looked at that fork and went like, this is the fork. Attorneys, everybody. And then when you really
over a good amount of years,
over like 2 decades,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And then, you start also looking at funding, right? And what's fundable. What we're doing like at the city with Recycle Water, one of the big reasons we chose that fork is those kind of projects are much easier to secure funding for. So if you're doing something that's sort of next gen, new era, where it's a more resilient, sustainable choice, much easier to get funding for. If you're going to stick with an old facility and no fist passage and prone for litigation and other things, people are like, hey, good luck with that. You're not going to get the same.
It's got a target on it. And
Yeah.
obviously the governor and some of our representatives want it gone.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Seems to be the case.
Yes and no. I think even if they didn't, there's a whole litany of NGOs and other environmental groups that would, if Gavin Newsom crashed in a plane tomorrow, that litigation is going to occur anyway. So look, I've been trying to register my motorcycle since April. So if you want to have beers about CARB and Gavin Newsom, we can do that. But that's not That's not this show, okay?
We'll have you back on and we'll just roast that guy.
But it's really about like this. It's a risk-based choice, right? And which one has the most likelihood of occurring and having the most durable, fundable solution for our community. And we've all agreed to this fork. So what makes things like the resolution problematic is to make anything this big go, you have to have a giant roster of partners, right? And support and partners, and everyone's got their own angle on things. And, you've probably tried to book like a guy trip or something, and then some dude halfway through is like, oh, I don't know if I'm going, and it the whole program, right? So, like, dude, are you in or are you out,
Bro,
right?
you're already in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like an exponential scale of that when you start wobbling around on these things, because people have already committed millions of dollars to get things designed to where they are now, and to get things inserted into PG&E's decommissioning plans, and all where we're at right now took years of work with a ton of partners and government agencies being created. And then when you start wobbling around and looking unsure, everyone's looking at you like, literally, are you in or are you out? And if you're either going to alienate a key partner who's going to bail and sink the ship, or they're going to carve you out, and then now you're not going on the guy trip even if you change your mind the next week because they got a new dude.
So that's the reason why supporting Mendocino County, passing Madeline Klein's initiative or whatever it's called, basically, because I said, Mo, I think it was a mistake not to do that. And she said, by supporting that, it would jeopardize our ability to move this forward. And you're saying, because by Mendocino County saying, we want to keep the dam, now they're saying, we're not going on the, I'm not sure I'm in on the riverboat.
It's not just an all guys.
What's that?
It's not just an all guys trip.
Right. No, absolutely not. Not in 2025.
No, I just want you to know that.
Yes.
But yes, our partners have, we work together. This hasn't been easy.
Yeah.
There are entities on the Eel River that basically, if the diversion continues, they will not be happy at all. And so is that a reason for all of this? It's not the only reason for all of this, but it is a concern.
Yeah.
And we have some pretty stalwart partners right now.
Yeah,
on
and
the
it's
Eel River side.
And it's just like we're taking heat right now for not fighting over this. They're taking heat for supporting even any form of continued diversion. And when people start waffling around, people get susceptible to no longer participating. And kind of everyone we have at the table right now is absolutely necessary. And scattering the quail is like not great.
What do you guys think the percentage chance is that this gets pulled off and done? That the NERF happens, that Coyote Valley Dam goes in, that we have storage in Potter Valley.
Yeah.
That's adequate. I mean,
it's going to be painful to watch, and it's going to be slow, and there'll be studies that are going to make your butt itch while you're having your morning coffee, reading about it in the newspaper 5 years from now. But I do absolutely think it will happen.
and do you think you will get this done alongside the removal of the dam, or who knows?
Yes. No, like the way it is structured now, it's embedded and synchronized, right? We all know that even 1 or 2 years of no diversion is potentially wildly problematic for Lake Mendocino. So they have to happen concomitantly.
Yeah, so we can get PG&E or somebody to be like, hey, can you not rip it out till we get our ish together on the other side over here?
Removal and construction of the NERF will have to be dovetailed. We just can't not do it that way. So there's
Right, you're not going to get into the river
Yeah.
twice and dewater that river
Yeah.
twice. Why would you do
Yeah.
that if you don't have to?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Understood.
So again, this is where these studies can be our friends, right? People are going to look at the consequences of what it would be like if PG&E ripped their things out and we weren't quite done with our stuff, and that won't be allowed, and it will be helpful, but a torturous step in the meantime.
If you do put in the NERF and you have the right to put the water through during high flow,
Yes.
is there a possibility of, like, is that a license that you get for 50 years? Or is there a possibility that someone can say, you know what, we actually want our water back now?
The current agreement is a 50-year
50-year
agreement.
agreement.
So that would be good for 50
And that
years.
begins the day that PG&E is gone. So it doesn't start now. And then 20 years from now,
Yeah, we're not burning the clock
we're
at the
not
moment.
burning the clock right now. It's a 50-year new process, new ability to divert.
Does PG&E have a plan of decommissioning?
Yes.
I mean, a timeline?
Well, it's interesting because PG&E filed their decommissioning plan with FERC at the end of July. So we're now what's called on the FERC clock. FERC has just opened up a comment period. So we have 30 days to comment to FERC. Anybody who's a stakeholder in any way can now comment to FERC. And they will consider the comments, but in the meantime, FERC is going to have to take PG&E's application and look at what the impact of it is, whether that's to the fishery because of sediment or whatever other items might occur during decommissioning and dam removal, et cetera. They're also going to have to look at what the impact of the removal of Scott Dam and this project is going to have on us.
Yeah, on us.
So that's called NEPA. And they're going to have to do a full NEPA analysis. That could take, we don't know how long it's going
Long
to take.
time. Yeah.
But it'll take more than a couple of years, for sure. And
I
then-
think
yeah.
at the last, I don't want to do this to you again, ERPA meeting.
Yeah, ERPA.
They're
NERF.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
Four-letter
terrible.
acronym number.
Yeah, that's the
403.
Eel Russian Project Authority. That's the JPA that's been set up to oversee construction and operation
Right.
of the NERF. I think PG&E is shooting for 35, but there's 100 things that could get in the way there.
2035?
Yeah, 10 years from now.
But we don't know. I mean, that's
Yeah.
basically the bottom line. We're not sure what the timeline is. But again, I can tell you it would be not in our best interest to wait for them to make a decision without getting something on
Yeah.
the ground so that we can survive.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean,
So we need to
regardless of
not
what
shit the
happens-
bed on this one.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, I get that.
Okay.
A vision for
Got
the
it.
future
Yeah.
needs to be
We
projected.
shit the bed
and-
on everything else, but this
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
Really,
It'd
we
be
can't
really
shit the bed
good.
on this
Yeah.
one.
Well,
really good.
It's high stakes poker, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And regardless, whatever happens, we should be raising probably Coyote Valley Dam and getting.
Yes.
I mean,
And
that's
building
like
storage.
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer.
It was kind of interesting. As a quick sidebar, I was watching A River's Last Chance just because I hadn't seen it in a long time, and Guinness had quoted me as saying something in there. I'm like, did I really say that? I did not. But that's perfectly fine. But it's really kind of interesting. In the middle of that movie, they have the water map that showed the potential Round Valley Reservoir that they were going to build. And on there, it shows expanded Lake Mendocino on that same map in the middle of that movie, which is pretty crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, damn, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And that's a map from the 60s.
Yeah.
And I keep reading Round Valley Indian Tribes. So what's their role in this? Is this because they could pull rank and take seniority over the water, and they're agreeing to some diversion? Is that correct? And
Yeah,
play ball here.
So again, the right to divert was coupled to producing electricity. All that goes away. You could theoretically file for a new water right. New water rights get heavily protested, and you'd be junior. So it would be a long, arduous journey for a small
And they
slice
have
of
one
pizza.
senior to the
Yes.
PV project.
They have one that's senior to all California ones. So there's a thing called the Winter's Doctrine, which is the federal law. It came out, I think, in 1908. That basically said if the U.S. government sets any piece of land aside, they also assumed that it set aside enough water to use that land. And many rounds of litigation later, it's become very clear and durable law that Indian nations, sovereign, or they're sovereign nations, and the Winter's Doctrine gives them really the highest priority in water rights.
So they're agreeing to play ball with this nerve.
Yeah.
Second, another question I have. Well, Bernie was here, and his main, I was rattling off, okay, we're going to pay for the dam to come out. We got to pay for the nerve to be built. So, our power bill is going up and the water bill is going up. And he's like, yeah, you missed one thing. And his main concern was that the water that's going to come through the nerve is going to be completely unaffordable.
Yeah.
To farmers.
Right.
If they can even afford the water, I think was his quote, right?
Yeah.
So what's the response to that? Is it
My response to that is it will be more expensive than now, right? But now is wildly inexpensive compared to the water market in California. So I travel a lot in my water nerdy ways. And so to give you an idea, like when we built a recycled water system here in Ukiah, that was largely originally to basically eliminate our discharge into the river, because that was becoming, again, very prohibitive from a regulatory framework. So we were just trying to find people that would take it, right? And back then, Russian River Flood Control, where I had just worked, an acre foot of water was $49 an acre foot. What is it in Potter?
Now we're all the way up to 35.
35, right? So we basically offered 10 years at free because it's hard to undershoot for $49. If you go to just a Petaluma sells their recycled water to agriculture there, and it's just fodder. It's just hay. It's $600 an acre foot. And I've seen some estimates for the NERF. They think it will be between $300 and $500 an acre foot, which
and right
is
now they're paying 35.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah, but-
this massive increase, but it doesn't prohibit farming. People in Petaluma are farming their brains out on $600 an acre foot. And if you go further south, it just gets wild. So like,
Yeah,
if-
but they're
but the-
they're
but the-
breaded down there in Petaluma. They got all kinds of money going.
well, they're
on,
still
you know?
growing cows,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but
They're
the
still
thing
growing
is,
cows.
If you look at all of the people that benefit from this water that comes through the project,
Yeah.
if Potter Valley is paying directly $35 an acre foot, and nobody else that benefits from this water is paying a penny, then it doesn't, you can take $200 an acre foot and spread it out over everybody who hasn't paid anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it pretty reasonable when you think about it. Redwood Valley customers are paying almost $400 an acre foot last time I asked.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, $400 an acre foot in Redwood Valley. In Potter Valley, it's 35.
There
In
are
Ukiah Valley, it's nothing.
So how do we make them pay for water down south of us coming out of Coyote Valley Dam?
IRPA is going to be the entity that will own and operate and fund the new diversion facility.
By selling
NERF,
that water,
By
yeah.
selling the water. And that's yet to be put into place, obviously.
But
Yeah,
it'll
okay.
be similar in structure to like what flood control does now with contracts for the ability to divert the water.
How's Potter Valley feel about the NERF? What's your, it seems like they got the pitchforks and torches out about the dam. So I'm wondering,
Well-
what's their thought about this?
If most of the people that I know that I talk to understand the importance of a continued diversion. Their concern is that obviously the water is going to be coming through that project in the winter.
Yeah.
And we need to store it so we can use it in Potter Valley in the summer. And so that's the main pivot. But what I would like to see is that people that do understand that the diversion itself is critically important one way or the other are willing to help get us to a place where we have more storage in Potter Valley, that we're less dependent. And I know it's going to be expensive, but what's the alternative? If Scott Dam is gone, what's the alternative?
And I'll give you that because we've had a couple people on. There's one more guy who wants to come on that's for keeping the dam. And I think everybody would be for it, but nobody yet has really come up with a solution of how you're going to actually viably keep it. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to be responsible?
Yeah.
We tried that.
I mean, I'm for keeping the dam, obviously, but I'm also like, oh, there's this whole thing going on that I need to be educated on, because obviously you got to have a conversation, learn what you don't know, and then change your mind or not. But nobody has come to forward and said, well, here's a viable path to keeping the Potter Valley project, or is there somebody out there saying that?
No, they're not. There's no one who's popped up and said, I'll take it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or here's
There's people that are now trying to get somebody to come in and take
Yeah.
it. But no one has, no one in the federal government, for example, it seems to be interested.
who could come take it? The feds?
A very, very, very wealthy person who had, some desire to, I don't know,
Can we
spend
put
a lot of
Trump,
money.
Trump on the front of the dam?
In big gold letters.
Trump's dam, but then they would also have to be concerned about the costs
Yeah.
of maintaining
It sounds
aging
from a-
infrastructure. But also, they'd also have to be concerned about the people that want those dams down for issues that are about fisheries and listed species. It's not just who wants the dam and who can take it over and pay for it, which there doesn't seem to be anybody at this point. in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It seems like what you're saying is that it has been and is going to be a losing business deal.
Model. Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Like,
right. So do you
it
think
hasn't made any sense, and it's kind of like the Palace Hotel in a way, right? You invest all this money into something that's broken and fallen down, and where's your return? How are you ever going to get any money
Yeah,
out of it?
It's still broken and falling
maybe you
down.
could get the city to come out and say that the dam's historic, and then we could keep it
Then we can debate
how
it for
about there?
another 40 years.
down there on Seminary.
that?
Get your pencils out.
Let's debate it for 50 more years.
We'll make it ADA compliant and historic.
Not do anything about it ever.
Yeah, it's historic. We got to keep it in, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else? I mean, I think we covered a lot.
We
There,
didn't
right?
Well,
You're ready for this poor young lady's ready for dinner.
no, I actually am fine, but I'm not sure how much we can fix it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to take more conversations. I
Totally.
think one of the things that IWPC and I wrote a letter to the Board of Soups before this resolution came to them, asking for the county to consider putting on a workshop to have more public input about this issue and more public education. A few months ago, the IWPC had an all boards meeting, and what that means is the 5 agencies that are members of IWPC, all their boards got together, a public meeting, and we sat down with our consultants and attorneys and everybody that's been working on this project and explained to the boards all at one time in one place what we've been talking about this evening. And most of them understood. some of the new board members on some of the entities weren't as knowledgeable, and it really helps to have people
Honestly,
understand.
the type of questions
Totally.
you guys asked tonight, I think are the kind of questions I get every time I want to enjoy coffee at Black Oak.
Right.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like I totally get, like, if this isn't what you do every day, you would not understand why things are the way they are.
Yeah.
Which is why we wanted to have you guys on.
Yeah, no, it's been great, honestly.
We like people with their knowledge and their opinions to come on here and give it to the general public.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't know the ins and outs of
Yeah, you
everything.
wouldn't. Yeah.
And I imagine for you guys, it has to feel a little bit frustrating to be working on this for so long and have, these steps that you've taken for years now, and to get to this point and everybody's like, what? You guys are the bad guys. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, we got to explain the last 20 years to you guys now. We play in a band, and
Yeah.
I'd have people come up and make suggestions about
Yeah.
what we should and shouldn't do all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, man, if you only really knew,
Yeah.
right, the behind the scenes of like how,
Absolutely.
somebody, hey, you guys should play on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have
Great
you thought?
idea. I'm glad
Did you think
thought of
about that?
We've never thought about that, and we'll book that tomorrow. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for the
Well,
suggestion.
man.
Yeah.
There have been opportunities all along, because all these meetings are public meetings.
Yeah.
Sometimes under non-disclosure agreements, we have to have conversations about property and things like that.
But unfortunately, unless it gets to this point
Exactly.
where it's
Yeah.
dangerous,
It's-
it's hard to get people to pay attention
That's
to
right.
Impossible.
water diversion.
Impossible.
Well, it's,
honestly.
Right?
I've
Yeah.
always said, if we want to get people's attention about their water supply and its vulnerability, I want to know where the big valve is that I can turn off on July 3rd
Yes.
until like July 6th every
Right.
year.
Right.
Just turn it off.
Yeah.
And suddenly people go, whoa.
Yeah.
It's hard and it's boring. A lot of this, what we do, is just boring and tedious and technical. And people, when they come to meetings, a lot of times they just go, okay, I'm tired.
Yeah.
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 So it's hard. It's difficult. It doesn't matter what public
No, I mean, like,
entity you use to try and communicate with people. It's not enough. It's never been enough.
yeah.
This will help.
We can't even compete with like Golden Bachelor. It's like, people will stay home and watch that before coming to
Like, when should we schedule this meeting? Not when Golden Bachelor's on.
Well, we didn't do this
People
because of
just
the
wanna
World
s-
Series, right?
Yeah.
I mean, right?
People just want to.
Right.
There are so many other things people would rather do with their evenings. They've worked all day. They picked up their kids. They finally put the dishes away.
Well, and
They
honestly,
do not want to go to a water meeting.
There's a lot going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
And a lot
Yeah.
other things are taking space in
yeah,
people's minds
absolutely.
as well.
That
you know?
bandwidth
So
is full right now. Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
But the reality of it is there's not much that's more important than water.
No.
It's the necessity for food and life.
Yeah.
And there's, us maintaining our ability to store it, keep it, and use it is the highest priority. And so this is important. Now, there's maybe several people with different ideas and different paths there. Thank you for sharing,
Yep.
your vision. And hopefully when you're drinking coffee at Black Oak, you'd be like, just listen to the
Yeah, I'm just-
Like It or Not
yeah,
podcast.
now you got
Everything
it all
you need-
recorded.
I want to
dude.
make cards with a link and just.
Correct. Scan this.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. Just a QR code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
as boring as it is, it's like
It's important.
It's
Yeah.
incredibly
It's important. Yeah.
important, and we're facing change, and change is always scary and uncertain, but it's necessary, and it needs to be. It's the only thing that's inevitable, right? In
Yeah.
life is change. So
Yep.
And taxes and death, right?
I know, like.
we'll see about the taxes. dude.
When people talk, when I was especially flood control PVs talking about, this isn't the first water challenge. We had a big thing with frost protection a while ago that Jen and I worked on forever as well. And people are like, well, it's just going to change farming in the valley. I'm like, farming always changes, honestly. And I'm like, if you don't believe me, go find a hop in Hopland, right? It's just it's
Well-
always evolving, but we want nothing more than that sort of core agricultural lifestyle to stay in place here in inland Mendocino and Potter. It's just like, it's what makes this area what it is. So will it be exactly the same? No. But will it continue? That is our goal.
Well, I mean, not only does it have to stay, like if it doesn't, then what else is left?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not.
It's a quality of life.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's the economy, obviously, but it's basically a quality of life issue.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's an environment in which your whole generations of families and lives are built around.
Yeah.
That's right.
Here and I think maintaining that, like that's why I think it's such a hot button topic. I mean, we have at stake literally generations of people who have, lived a lifestyle and had one, and that's what's in the balance here is the continuation of that.
Yeah.
Agriculture, of all the different entities I can think of, people the way they make a living, has probably had to be the most resilient of any of them because so many things are out of our control.
Oh, yeah.
And we can do it.
Yeah.
We've done it. We can do it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be cheap. But if we have the will to do it, we will be able to do it.
All right, I like it.
Bam.
Anything else you guys want to add to the conversation here?
No, thanks for having us. So
Yeah,
this was
thank you.
great. Actually, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on. You were
Our
easy
pleasure.
to connect with, and I'm glad. Mo, thank you for that as well. Yeah, I mean, like you said, we didn't solve the problem here, but I think educating the public on what's really going on so they can make a decision or support NERF or not, whatever they want to do. But at least they'll be educated if they listen to Like It or Not podcast.
And you don't have to tell the story ever again. You just refer them to the episode.
Yeah.
When
It's
that,
episode 2.
Yeah.
Do you have a swimming pool?
It's episode 208.
Yeah.
So just refer them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah,
for
no,
being
thank
here.
you.
Yep, we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
All
all
right,
your hard
everybody.
work.
We'll see you next week.